G'day folks. Well, this is part 2. This is going to be the oil modification, and this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. And I hope you watched the first video of this little series that I'm going to put up on the oiling system of the Holden V8. Well, what I'm going to do to help correct the oiling system of this little Holden V8. It is known, so I'm going to make a mention that Come Racing have put a little video up of a couple of little mods to improve the cam bearing at the front, copping a load of oil which it needs desperately. Okay, well this side here, guys, I'll just explain here. This side here gets fed first, okay, straight from the pump. So this side galley has got full load of oil first up. The trouble is with the front cam bearing, it doesn't cop oil until it passes through number 4 cam bearing, comes up through this hole here first, then it's got to travel underneath the bearing through the annulus to this side to fill up the galley. There's no other hole that I'm aware of that fills the galley. It's all got to pass through here. Then when it's full and primed up, it'll make its way onto this cam bearing at the front here. Okay, well, what Mr. Come Racing's gone and done, very clever. It's not my idea, it's his idea, and it's a very clever idea. He drills a hole straight through there onto this side galley, okay? Then he runs an annulus, the same as that. Hang on, there it is. He grinds an annulus in, okay, so oil can pass behind the bearing. So we create an annulus here. And I think he even goes around a little bit further, and I think there he puts the hole for the bearing, for the camshaft bearing. So what we're doing, we're actually filling up this from this side into that hole there. We're going to fill this galley up very quickly, and this cam bearing will cop oil pretty much instantly. Okay, then what he does then on number 4, where it used to transfer through to this side galley, he puts a restrictor in. And I think the reason for that is so you get plenty of volume of oil through to the main bearings. So the idea is we're getting a fantastic flow of oil to number 4 main. By restricting this down a little bit, we've still got oil passing through it, but we've reduced the amount significantly, and coming up through here on this side, we're getting a good flow of oil to this number 4 main, and that's the reason he blocks or restricts this hole here, because now we are getting an awesome flow through to this side, and we're getting a great flood of oil up on startup pretty much straight away, as are the rest of them, because we're not having to just rely on oil to fill up and bleed through on this part here to try and fill this whole galley up and starve this bearing. So I think that's a fantastic little mod there, courtesy of Come Racing. So I'm going to go on work on that, and I'll show you that in the coming vids, how I attack it, and yeah, I'll show you that. Now the next little trick, this is sort of my idea. I actually seen this trick from other guys working on other motors, Chevy motors, And what they've gone and done, they've actually opened up just slightly the diameter holes through from each of these. So we're just going to just shave them out just that little bit. It's a 6.5 mil. We're only going up just that tiny little bit, so we're just going to open them up and create a little bit more flow through to the main bearings. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we're actually going to do down in here too, guys, off this side galley, which gets filled first. So we're going to open these holes up just slightly. There's one at the back here too. This one here. So now we're going to increase flow through to the camshaft bearing, and that'll encourage oil a lot easier through to the main bearings. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there. Now the next little trick, and I'm actually going to open that up slightly too, just 0.5 millimetre, just so we can get that little bit more flow where we need it. My next little trick is from the pump. I'm actually going to, I was going to drill it, but I'm not going to drill it actually. I probably could drill this one, but yeah, these are 9/16, so we may just go up that little bit bigger and see if we can drill that out slightly. Then when it gets to this sort of stage here, I'm going to open it up a little bit, but I've got to be very mindful that I don't interfere this part here for the Welsh plug. But there's nothing to say I can't sort of get a porting tool up in there and try and just open it up nice and just take my time and just work on it and see if I can get a little bit more diameter going on here. And then we might be able to just drill that out slightly. So we've got a slightly bigger diameter, a little bit more opened out to that part. Then, as we come around here, now we've flicked the block back up on its right side, we're going to do the same trick here. We're going to open it up down through here. Again, be very mindful not to damage this, because it's the only way it's going to seal. And if we can get the porting tool, where is it? Up in there too, and just sort of try and radius that corner a little bit, maybe blend it a little bit more, just up through there. Especially the transition from the pump, because we've got 3 90-degree bends we've got to negotiate before we get into this main galley for the lifter galley. So a little bit of attention to detail. I'm going to work on that area there to try and encourage a little bit more flow through onto this side galley. And then when we do the modification to we drill the hole for the galley that on this side, which comes first to feed this side, and it'll cop a load of oil here straight up, and that's the problem with it, because this side here, this is the last port of call, and really this bearing here is where the timing chain is, the pump drives off it, the oil pump, so there's a fair load on it, and every time you start up or if there's a drop in oil pressure, this bearing here suffers. So we don't want that. We want a good load of oil distributed fairly evenly through the whole block, and that's what I'm going to do, guys. So help improve the oil modification. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that's what Griff's going to do to his little engine, and yeah, hopefully we can get some more flow. It'll be interesting. It may drop the oil pressure a little bit. It's not a bad thing. It's only an indication that what I've actually done is working. But I'm actually going to the next level with my oil pump too, guys. There's some actual other areas that I want to really address when I go to do that oil pump mod again. You can see it on the video on my channel. If you click up straight up onto my channel, I've put the video of the oil pump mod there, but the next time I do one on this motor, I'm actually going to do a little bit more work on it and improve it again. I'm still sticking with the standard volume. I don't want the extra loading on the shaft for the high volume. I've heard of failures and I just don't want to run that risk. I feel the standard volume is unbelievable, and it is unbelievable because it works incredibly well with this engine. But like I said, doing these little modifications to this one will really help up in the revs and get the oil where it really is needed, straight into that those main bearings. Alright guys, well there you go. I'll pop one up when I start working on it, and I'll give you little updates, and we'll keep talking about it. If you've got any questions, more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this, but if you can get your head around the workings of it all and take your time with it, you can get a really deep understanding of things like this. And it seems to be everything I'm sort of doing to the car, guys, is working, and it's working incredibly well. So it's just fantastic. Alright folks, I'll pop one up soon. Catch yous later.